What's going on, everyone? So another day, another head coach that the Lakers are linked to and tied to. This time, it's from the Denver side of things. We talked about the Micah from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, let's talk about Dave Adelman. So he is the son of Rick Adelman. And so got the coaching DNA, literally. And he is the lead assistant for the Denver Nuggets. So he comes from, again, good coaching trees, good coaching backgrounds, head coaching jobs, right? He's a guy that can potentially step in and be a quality head coach, right? At least that's the idea. He's relatively young. He's only 42 years old. So if the Lakers were to sign him and bring him on board and it hits and it works, well, now he's a guy that, again, you could have longevity. Because keep talking about it. You don't want to keep going through this. You don't want to go another, 2 years from now or have to get another head coach, right? It's just at some point you want to get some stability in the coaching department. At some point you want to get some stability, just period, right? From the franchise standpoint. That was the hope with Darvin Ham. Didn't work out. He was in over his head. But now you're getting back to, again, these assistants that don't really have a ton of experience and beg the question of, like, is this the best approach? Should the Lakers go and get a guy that, a Mike Budenholzer or whatever, which I'm not really super high on, but he is a championship level head coach. He is a guy that, won a championship and has plenty of head coaching experience. Do you go kind of that route with an experienced guy, or do you kind of take a flyer and take a chance on one of these lead assistants on one of these primary teams? Right? Now, in a perfect world, ideally, you get David, you bring him in, he comes on board, he kind of, adds some of the philosophies and some of the traits from the Denver Nuggets and various other places he's been. He's been with like Orlando and stuff. So, he kind of, again, takes pieces from here, and here. He has his father that he can kind of, touch on and rely on and the history and, kind of maybe get to the point where he can kind of carve out a nice system on both sides of the basketball. But like I've said with all these assistants, if the Lakers end up signing any of these assistants, at the end of the day, you got to get a quality just head coach as a safety net, right? And by that, I mean, like, even somebody like a Terry Stotts, which I'm not really high on as like the head coach, but as like the lead assistant to kind of help guide and help kind of structure where structure needs be, then yes, I think that's the route. To me, you got to, if you're going to take a flyer on one of these assistants, which again, very well could work, right? I'm not against getting, one of these premier assistants or something like that come from good coaching trees. I've talked about some of the other assistants that have been thrown out there, like Charles Lee, stuff like that. Again, you look at and you trace back the coaching tree, it's like not great, right? But you look at some of these other guys, Micah, David, right? It's like, okay, they have good history, good head coaching representation, right? They are coming from good brain trusts that have had experience in this league, that have had success in this league, that now hopefully he can implement some of that success and start having success of his own. That's kind of the idea and the concept. But, some of these other assistants that it's just like, again, I kind of feel like the Lakers are like, okay, what team is really good? Let's get that head coach, or let's get that assistant as a head coach, right? It's like, it's kind of, I feel like with the Charles Lee thing, like, again, no real experience. He doesn't come from a great coaching tree. It's just, I don't think that that's the best course of action, right? Like, even the situation in Boston, like, you and me could probably coach Boston to a winning record. I think that's one of, like, sometimes there's just teams that are so talented that, like, yes, coaching is important. I'm not saying that they don't need a coach, but, there are questions about, the head coach and whatnot. So it's like, do you really want to get the assistant? Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm personally not like super sold on that idea, but you look at kind of the other side of things and it's like, okay, well, you see guys stemming from, the equality tree, then it's like, okay, like, let's go take a look over here. But I just don't want the Lakers to fall into that trap of like, because they're in a situation that's good, that should translate and come to Lakers, and now that's good, right? Like, it doesn't always work out that way. Luke Walton is a great example that I keep mentioning, right? Luke Walton looked like the best coach in the league, coaching the Warriors, but it was 73 win Warriors, right? Like he was, I could have looked good. You could have looked good. We all could have looked good, right? Like my kid could have went and coached that team and probably won 73 games, right? And now look, right? Lakers fall for the bait. Go get Luke Walton, and now he's like the fourth assistant on the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, same thing with Darvin Ham, right? Part of Mike Budenholzer and his system and philosophy. Mike Budenholzer, he wins championship. It's like, oh, get a team that has success. Let's grab the assistant, and maybe it'll lead to success here. It just didn't, right? It's like it didn't work out the way that we had hoped, and it's just, again, you only know what you learn, right? Like you only know what is taught to you, right? Like, so my big concern is, and that's why I keep mentioning like these coaching trees and stuff, right? Because again, Mike Budenholzer got fired for a lot of the same reasons Darvin Ham just got fired. Right? So it's like, do we really want to, so again, that's why it is so important to kind of look at like, where is this information that they've learned? Where is their coaching philosophies? Where is their ideas for being a coach come from? And it's like, you look at one side of the scale and it's like, it's not great, right? You look at another side of the scale, it's like, okay, this one's kind of better, right? And look, the Lakers, a lot of this is just due diligence. A lot of this is like, they're casting a wide net, which you need to do. Right? Like the Lakers, if you're the Lakers, you got to get this right. So you can't leave any stone unturned. You can't run the risk of, something to where, we should have gotten this guy in hindsight. And like, no, like I'm okay with all of these rumors and all of these, like, this coach, and now Lakers are linked to this coach. And I understand some people might look at it and go, all right, like I'm sick of the speculation, sick of the rumors and all that stuff, which I get. But this is something, in my opinion, to be excited for. There's something to be confident in. Because the Lakers, it's not just like J.J. Redick, Mike Budenholzer, and Terry Stotts are the only ones that they're interested in. If that's the case, it's like, or it was just J.J. Redick, Tyronn Lue, and Jason Kidd. And it's like, well, Jason Kidd just signed an extension. Tyronn Lue's probably going to sign an extension. So guess the Lakers are hiring J.J. Redick, which, I've talked about. I don't really mind that. Again, if you put the proper foundation around him from a coaching bench standpoint. And that's kind of how I feel about all of these like assistants, right? You want to bring in David, that's fine, but you need to have the proper coaching and structure and just foundation for him, right? So to me, you made the mistake with Darvin Ham. That was supposed to be the original idea. You're going to have Darvin Ham come in. You're going to bring in an established former head coach that has the experience to kind of help him and guide him and help him in his first few years. Lakers didn't do that. Darvin Ham didn't really want to do that. So they said, okay. And they let him kind of pick his coach stuff. I'm not saying you don't you bring in David or you bring in whoever, right? Let him pick his guys. But the one kind of caveat, the one kind of like, yeah, you can pick anybody you want, but we need to get some type of former head coach on this bench that you can go to and kind of help you go through the dailies, right? Kind of help you go through the motions. That if you do get caught in a snag or you do have some questions or, you have your game plan, you have your path, but you need to kind of deviate off that path. You need to kind of have that sort of guru, right? Like you need to have that guy that can kind of be the, hey, now might be a good time to call a timeout. Or, hey, you should pull that guy out of the game, right? Like things like that. Like those little things kind of go a long way. You look back to like the 2020 roster, right? Yeah, you had Frank Vogel, which, he was great at that time. Things kind of went downhill pretty quick. But, you had Frank Vogel, but you also had other guys. You also had Lionel Hollins, who was former head coach, who was a guy that had, different perspectives and philosophies and ideas. And then, you had Jason Kidd, who was a head coach, came to be an assistant. Now he's a head coach again. Again, different ideas, different philosophies, different personality, right? And then, you had a guy in a Phil Handy, right? You had these different personalities with different philosophies, with different structures, with different ideas or different concepts. And they kind of came together in this brain trust and were able to coach us to an NBA championship, right? So I kind of want to see the same thing, right? Can we get like a new Avengers of coaching on the bench if you're going to, especially if you're going to get one of these kind of like newer wet behind the ear guys. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? One, do you get excited about these? Because like I do. Like I genuinely, like when I see these reports, I get excited about them because it shows me the Lakers are doing their job. They're doing the due diligence. They're not just looking to settle, right? They're trying to get this right. Again, casting a wide net. I like that. I appreciate that. Again, I know some people don't really like that. Some people are just like, can we just fast forward and hire a coach already? But it's kind of how you get in trouble, right? So I'd like to see them do it the proper right way. But also, what do you think about Dave Adelman? Are you down for him? Are you not? What head coach or what coach, assistant coach, never been a coach type guy would you like to see be the head coach of the Lakers? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.